So we were talking about problems. So I wonder if you had any problems with your captain or with your colleagues. For example, if there is a confliction in cockpit, how do you solve it?
Sure.
What's the right way to solve a confliction in the cockpit?
Okay, so it's a very, very unusual situation, because we're talking about professionals in the flight deck. You know, that people that they experience, and it's very, very rare that you will come across a problem in the flight deck. Having said that, there is a possibility that it can happen, and you will deal with it the best way you go, and we always trying to respect each other, and then I think if there is a problem, it could be maybe sometimes miscommunications, or maybe sometimes it could be a little bit of the language barrier, but you just trying to discuss and fix it, say, look, I maybe this is not that I'm comfortable with, but can you explain it to me how you can make this for me to understand properly. But I have to say it's a very rare event, and if you are presented with it as a professional, you will find a way, because this could be in any job, and you will still make it safe, and the other person will understand, and the outcome will always be perfect. So I don't think there is I've ever had any issues with people, or a conflict. I wouldn't call it a conflict. It could be a misunderstanding, and but because we all have procedures, company SOP, standard operating procedures, we all follow the same rules, the same procedures. We know exactly what to say, what comes next, and how to say it. And especially when you fly major airlines, the procedures are very strict. So it's I can give an example. You can come from you can have a pilot that come from a different airline, and then all of a sudden he's flying for the airline you work for, and then he does something that is different the way you normally do, and then you can question it in a nice way, say, oh, I've never seen that before, and obviously that's not a company SOP, and you ask, oh, I've never seen that before, and then the guy can say, oh yeah, this is what we did in a previous airline, but obviously in our airline we don't do it. So you can just put it in a nice way and say, oh really, I've never seen that before. Maybe we can suggest our airline to do this as well. Maybe you can, we can write to one of the chief pilot and suggest maybe we can do this, because we don't do this here. And so that will trigger already something in someone's mind to think, oh, maybe I shouldn't have done it. Sometimes you can fly you fly with different personality, and everybody sees things in a different way. So if let's say you see maybe a colleague that is high on profile and is flying high, and maybe his descent is not going to make it, like it's going to be too high, maybe he needs to increase the descent. As a pilot, I'm not going to go and say, oh, you high, or you low, or you need to descend. You have to give some, in a nice way, some input, like, oh, the tailwind has increased. Oh, maybe we might not make the constraint, or things like you give a little input to your colleague, which you let your colleague think about it and come up with a plan and say, oh yeah, actually, I'm quite. And we in aviation, we all like this. We all have a manners, a way of, because there is a lot of implications. We fly a lot. We get distracted by many things. Sometimes while you're doing something, the doorbell goes and the cabin crew, they want to come in the flight deck while you're doing a maneuver, and you can get distracted, so you can get high on. There is a lot of things, but by communicating and have good manners, there is always a very good outcome.
Okay, thank you. So let's talk about pandemic a little bit, okay? Because aviation is one of the most affected industries, I think, in the world. So what do you think in the future, how it's gonna be in aviation?
Okay. Right. So this is an unprecedented problem that aviation has never faced before. And whenever you have a word crisis, a big problems, the aviation is probably one of the first industry to suffer. However, there will always be demand for pilots. There will always be planes flying. The pandemic is going to finish. There are people that they need to fly, people that need to get to their families, people that they want to go away, they want to start their life again. So, and it's a circle. There would be pilots retiring, new pilots coming into the business. So aviation will always be there. Airlines will always be there. Passenger, customer will always be there flying around the world. So for any young pilots, for any young generation, I would not worry about the pandemic. The pandemic is here at the moment, is affecting aviation, is going to go. All the pilots that they lost the job at the moment, they will go back flying. And all the new generation pilots, they will get a flying job eventually. It's only a matter of time. So I trained during September 11th, which was one of the worst time in aviation history as well. And I've had people telling me new pilots will never fly again. And then I got my first flying job as soon as I finished my pilot training. So it's just believe in yourself, pursue your dream, and make it happen.
Okay, thank you very much. So, Christian, this is my last question. And
Sure.
It involves your suggestion for young people. There are so many people, teenagers, who want to be a pilot. Especially, they need some advice because they don't know what to do. They are maybe in high school or university, so they need some suggestion. What can they do to be a pilot, to be a successful pilot?
Okay, so as we mentioned before, flying is for us, flying is a passion. It's not just a job. So if these people, they have this little voice on the back of the mind that they is telling them, I love flying, I want to be a pilot, then you definitely go into it. So academically, you have to put a lot of effort. So you have to study, you have to, you have to have school. We're very lucky because pilots, we don't need too much school because our training and stuff, it's very good and it forms you as a pilot. So not many pilots go to university because we start flying before quite young. So but if your country requires a university degree, then do that. So the best thing to do is go to see what the requirements are, go to a flying school, even if you're young, and say, Mom, Dad, I want to be a pilot. What do I need to do? So they can go to a flying school, they can check, they can say, you need this kind of training, you need this kind of money, you can be sponsored. But already at this stage, early stage, if this is what you're going to do, start investing for your future. See what you need, see what kind of school, what kind of degree you need in your country, see what is best for you to study. If you're going to be a pilot, you have to be good at maths, physics and things like that. So try and do maybe your degree based on that kind of studies. So that will help you eventually to train to be a pilot, So, but it doesn't mean if you don't do that, it doesn't mean you're not going to be able to be a pilot. But what I mean, if you're young and you have the chance to do it, start investing in your future towards your pilot career. So, and again, computers, Google, easy to go and search what to do, how to study, flying schools, where to study, which part of the world to go and study, how to do it. And but I will say is have a clear plan, have a look what to do, and how much money you need, and what sort of a training is going to be involved. And I think it's not that difficult, It just plan ahead and plan for your future. This is what is important. If you're young and you know you're going to be a pilot, if you're young and it's your dream and you don't have the money to do it, it doesn't mean you're not going to be able to do it. If you want something in life, you work for it, you make it happen. So I didn't have the money to be a pilot, but I worked for it. And I did lots of all kinds of sacrifices to make it happen. And nothing was given to me. I went to a flying club. I asked them how much money I needed to become a pilot. And then I learned the language to speak English. And then I went and worked so hard. And every day I was paying for my flying lessons and I was doing jobs to make it happen. And this is what we do, because we got this little voice here that is telling you, you have to be a pilot and you do anything to make it happen. So just basically, if you're young and you want to be a pilot, invest in your future, start looking into it now, speak to your family, speak to your parents, tell them, get involved as much as possible. Ask professional pilots how they got their license, where they study. Like, I'm happy for you to give people my email address, my Instagram account. I'm very happy to speak to people and encourage. But all I'm saying is there will be plenty of jobs there, and we are people that unique in that sense that we want to be pilots. Doctors know they're going to be doctors because they have it. Pilots know they're going to be pilots. Lawyers know they're going to be lawyers. So if you want to be a pilot, make it happen, but invest in your future now. Do what is best for you now, and speak to your parents, speak to your friends, speak to people and say, I want to be a pilot, and start looking into it now, early, young, because the earlier you do it, the easier it's going to be later on in life. And then I'm sure you will all fly one day, and maybe, you never know, you might be flying with me as well.
I hope so. I want that.
Well, we'll see what happens. Maybe you'll be we will fly on a small aeroplane together somewhere,
Yeah.
Because you also have a very good aviation career ahead of you. And you're very bright and very good.
I'm trying hard. Thank you very much. And thanks to you. Thank you for everything, Christian, for this video, for everything. It is really nice to have you here. I think
it's my pleasure.
This video is awesome. I had so much fun and I have learned so many things. So thank you.
Yes, I'm here anytime. If you have more questions or anything from people and friends in your channel, that I'm happy to help. I've been there one day, and I wish I could get, there was a way of people telling me many things, and so the more people know, the better. And I have a little surprise for you.
Really? What is it? Wow! I can't believe you have that.
It's not my airline, but I have a lot of respect, and I know you would like that present, wouldn't you?
Yes, and thank you. You made me so happy. It's a good surprise.
It's an Airbus 330 as well. I've flown this airplane before.
Wow.
The type, not the airline, but this is great. This is for you for the future.
Yeah, I hope so. Finger crossed.
and it's taking off as well. So
yes.
And all of your friends and you, everybody else is going to be flying planes and taking off one day.
I hope so. Thank you so much, Christian. So take care of yourself. I will write your Instagram account on the screen, so maybe they can some questions.
Of course.
Hope to see you soon again.
Okay, you're always welcome, and we'll keep in touch as always.
Okay, thank you.
And I just want to say something to you quickly, if that's okay. I've known you for many years, and you're very bright, and I always believed in you. And we always been in touch, and I can't wait for that day to see you on a jet, and it's happening, and I'm so proud of you, very, very proud of you. I've seen every single step of your aviation career, so I'm so proud.
Thank you so much. Thank you. So see you again, okay?
Ciao.
Bye. Okay.
See you soon. Bye-bye.
you.